Ashton is doing things that don't even seem real. He's somehow better than a video game character, and he's leading Boise to the top of college football. So how do we get here? Ashton grew up as a military brat, with his father Harry being in the military. And so he traveled to places like Virginia, Texas, Jacksonville where he was born, and even Italy, which in a sense were all a piece of what was his home growing up. With Harry being stationed in Italy for 3 years, although not the most ideal spot to hone in your football skills, Ashton was able to do so with an Italian-based squad that played against other military schools. He absolutely dominated the Italians as a kid, and so once his family moved back to the States, in particular Texas, he got quite a bit of attention from his huddle highlight reel, with Frisco Lone Star High School football coach Jeff Rayburn welcoming him with open arms. But since the team already had a few great running backs, they put him on defense as an outside linebacker and safety. For the next 3 years, he only played on that side of the ball, so you can only imagine how hungry he was going into his senior season with the opportunity to play running back. And let's just say he didn't look back. In 12 games as a senior, Ashton put up over 800 yards on only 229 carries, a pretty good 8-yard average, along with 810 yards and 41 catches through the air, with a pretty impressive 41 total touchdowns. As you could tell, it was one hell of a year for someone who had played defense the last 3 seasons straight, and was able to earn Ashton a 3-star status out of high school, as he had 14 college offers, including Kansas, Tulane, Tulsa, and the good old Boise State Broncos. Going into his true freshman year in 2022, Ashton split playing time with George Holani, and yet still put up 821 yards on 156 carries, along with 7 touchdowns. And in the 2022 Frisco Bowl, he rushed for nearly 180 and a touchdown to close out the year on a big one. Much like his first season, Ashton split carries once again as a sophomore, but this time took it up a notch with over 1,300 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground, along with over 550 receiving yards, which just so happened to be the most of any running back in the nation. As only a sophomore, Ashton was second in the nation in yards from scrimmage, and so it wasn't much of a shock that he was named the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. To do all this in only your second year, and while splitting carries is wild. But even then, going into the following season, no one could have anticipated what would happen next. In the 2024 season opener against Georgia Southern, Ashton rushed for 267 yards, breaking a 46-year-old single-game record for Boise State, and also had an insane 6 touchdowns, which tied the Mountain West record as he put together one of the best performances of any running back in college football history. Now that he was now splitting carries with Holani since he left for the NFL, the floodgates were open for Ashton as he put together insane performance after insane performance, unlike anyone since Barry Sanders' Heisman campaign back in '88. Ashton played so well that some games he would go out at the end of the first half with over like 100 or 150 something yards and a few touchdowns, as the Broncos have gone 5-1, with their only loss coming in number 2 Oregon, the team that just beat Ohio State, and yet Boise only lost them by 3 points, behind over 190 yards and 3 touchdowns by Ashton. If you just look at his stats throughout the first 6 games, it's tough to even think anyone else would have a shot at Heisman, because not only is Ashton playing well, but he also helped Boise State get to 15th in the nation. And he's not even playing full games, which makes his over 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns on a nearly 10-yard average seem better than anything you could even do in a video game. When someone is so good that they can't even be replaced on NCAA, the Heisman is just pretty much a given. So needless to say, for Ashton to play this well in only his first year as a true number 1 back is insanely impressive, and honestly it's just really cool to see someone doing something like this. Looking at the rest of Boise State's schedule, there's a good shot that the Broncos could make the college football playoff. And although matching up against a team like Georgia or Texas might be tough, if an overlooked team like Vanderbilt can beat Bama, then why not Boise State? Either way, if Ashton keeps at this pace, wins the Heisman, and Boise makes the playoff, then that could quite literally be one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my entire life. And yet it's very possible with how well Ashton and the rest of the Broncos are playing. All this in mind, you can only imagine that Ashton's draft stock is going through the roof, so it's exciting to think of what he could do on the next level, maybe on a team that needs a running back like Dallas or New York, because Mr. Jeanty is one of a kind, and he's showing it each and every game. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know, do you think Ashton will win the Heisman? And subscribe and like for more stuff like this. But anyway, see you all soon, and peace out.